want the truth. You know, the truth shall set you free.
The truth is,
it's showtime.
Wake up! All right. Good morning, Doc Bryce.
Well, good morning.
How's every little thing over in Docland?
Oh, we good.
All right. We are steadily trying to catch up and get everything going over here.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
Well, I couldn't imagine how I got behind.
I can't either because I'm trying to do some stuff, and for some reason, things have changed on the Facebook screens.
Yeah, well, I noticed that too. I got this anyway. I got a weird message from Facebook about your screen.
I got one about your screen too.
Yeah, I see, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, and it said you need to look at this right now, and I'm like, why?
You know, was it going somewhere? Anyway, good Thursday morning, South Arkansas. It's about time for the Roundtable, brought to you each and every weekday morning by our friends out at Everybody's Antiques and Elder Radio. That's where you're going to find an exceptionally wide variety of antiques, gifts, and collectibles, knickknacks, sports memorabilia. They got new tires, trailers, storage buildings. They still have storage buildings, Doc? Did they float away?
No, they went and got some cowboys and rounded them up.
Okay. All right.
Yeehaw.
They buy, they sell. They've got multiple dealers in-house. Delivery services available. They'll float it right down to you.
Yeah, they will. Just like the old days, man.
Well,
when they used to move lumber down the river.
I didn't know a river runs through it, included their parking lot, but apparently it does. 120 booths, 31,000 square feet to swim and explore.
Yes.
I'm teasing, man. That was horrible. Hope everything works out fine.
Well, other than damaged property, for the most part, it could have been worse.
Well,
it could always be worse.
As far as I know, nobody died, so... Yeah.
No, nobody reported any deaths or injuries or anything like that. A lot of people got rescued from their vehicles, and, the fire department went out there, and they did what the fire department does, and, they were like, I got this. And they, get out the fire truck and jump in the water and go swimming out to the car. Pull the people out and swimming back and everything. And,
firemen are so cool. What's up with cops, man?
I know, man. It's like everybody wants to be a fireman, but nobody wants to be a cop. Oh.
All right.
I'm teasing.
1444, the number to dial. That is Doc Bryce at YesRadioWorks.com. The not too bad.
Not so bad.
Not so bad.
Yeah. Doc Bryce, the not so bad.
Stories, Floor, and Carpet, 2004 Lorraine and El Dorado. Dial 862-9446. They've got that 6-foot wide boat carpet in stock.
Ooh.
Something that's real popular down in El Dorado right now.
I'm telling you, see, everybody thought I was crazy about having boat carpet in the house. I'm telling you, those who have it, it's paying off right now.
Absolutely.
Your insurance company is loving you because you're not filing a claim.
Financing is available with your good credit at Stories, Floor, and Carpet. Hey, where'd the rest of my sponsors go? Oh, here they are. Only picked up half of them. SAU Tech, they've got multiple job openings so that you can have a career in higher education. You can now apply online at sautech.edu. Go Rockets!
Yay!
St. John's Place and Washington Nursing and Rehab, 836-4111 or 870-352-2104. Call them up. Find out what they can do for you. First Choice Family Care, that's Dr. Jera Smith, her and her staff, always there to help take the pain away from whatever ails you. 870-800-9002. Get a new patient packet at myfirstchoicecare.com. Dr. Jera.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I figured she'd be here, but, I looked up and she's still not here, so we're going to keep on going here.
Okay.
OCMC's Chemical Dependency Unit. They'd like me to remind you that you're not alone. Addiction's a tough thing to get past. Make the choice be a better you by calling 870-836-1289 or 1-800-232-1289. See, and then you look up and there she is.
Just like that.
It's just really weird, man. I swear she does it on purpose. OCMC's Chemical Dependency Unit. All calls are confidential. 870-836-1289, 1-800-232-1289. Mitch Lowe's Body Shop, auto body collision repair, framework, glasswork, and refinishing. All accidents, large or small, Mitch Lowe's can handle it all from 2025 California. If you put it in the ditch, you better call Mitch at Mitch Lowe's Body Shop, 837-2560. Doc, are you depressed that I did it that way?
Well, I always look forward to the other way.
Yeah, well.
It gets everybody, catches everybody off guard.
Yeah, well, that's why we have to do it the real way every now and again to catch you off guard.
I don't think it's written down anywhere where it has to be that way.
Oh, you don't think?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Doc doesn't think. Okay, and finally by the Flaming Pig Barbecue, 818-5984. They do catering. They've got a great big fundraiser coming up this Sunday, July 10th, from 11 to 2. It's for the Holly Springs Volunteer Fire Department. Let's see. If you want more information, call Bonnie, 870-818-2602. The quilt raffle, call Peggy, 870-687-1138. And for the poker run, call Clark, 870-313-1537. This is sponsored by Lynn Ramsey Community Center Veterans Memorial. Flaming Pig Barbecue Fundraiser this Sunday, 11 to 2. Good morning, Dr. Smith.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Well, you look wonderful. So
It's another day.
bright and cheerful and
This side of the dirt. It's a good side.
Yes, ma'am. Any day I can get up on this side of the dirt, it's a good day. So we've got to go ahead and take this break. You guys hang out. We have got the doctor in the house. If you've got any questions, 870-836-9559, the DJ line. We've got that text line too, Doc Bryce.
501-313-0944.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. You're sure?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back. Wake up! Wow, I hit the wrong button and that woke me up.
Yeah, good morning.
Wow, dude, man. Wake up! I'll throw another one of those out there. Morning, Doc Bryce.
Well, good morning.
So you got a bunch of questions for the doctor, right?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, why won't this thing heal? It's been like 3 weeks and it hadn't done a thing. Nothing.
You should probably see your doctor.
Boy, is it time for your wellness checkup.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see.
What are we talking about today?
Well, I hear
What
that
about monkey fist? That's going around.
Monkey fist. What are you talking about? What is Doc talking about today? I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, and I can't turn him off without turning you off. So.
No, the monkey pox. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, supposedly we got some now here in Arkansas. We just got a fresh batch in.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want it to go stale, right?
Y'all can't stay away from leaving Arkansas. If we just kept to ourselves.
Well, I had to run down to Fort Worth for the weekend, and I came right back.
You bring
With
something with you?
monkeypox, huh?
Well, I had an extra suitcase, but I didn't notice any.
I just picked it up in the airport. It was abandoned.
It's kind of like bed bugs, man. It just
There's these little
attaches to
glass
everything.
vials, and they broke all over.
Oh, it is liquid.
So I
seeping
just
from the
tossed it near
seeds,
the.
I chunked it in the river, and
Yeah.
I figured that would take
I
care
put
of
it in
that.
the water treatment center.
God.
So,
Okay.
in, in all honesty, okay, what is monkeypox? We had murder hornets, we had COVID, and COVID's still coming around. I haven't heard anything about the murder hornets. Have you heard anything about the murder
We still
hornets?
didn't even get pie.
Yeah, no,
They
we haven't
skipped
got pie.
They skipped pie on purpose.
Well,
Well, Omicron comes before ppi, doesn't it?
well, yeah, but hadn't we
pie
had
was
like
supposed to be the next
27
one.
different variants?
But
since
Omicron
then?
has been hanging out.
Well,
Omicron, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes. Lick a door handle near you.
Well, is there an uptick in the COVID thing? Do we need to talk about that?
We probably should, because the active cases are on the rise. Not as on the rise as it was like in January on the rise. I'm hoping that this isn't the case, but it is on the rise again. So more than there were. I'm trying to find our exact data again. But just the biggest thing out there, be careful. There's only 101 active cases in our county as of, I think they update this website every at 1 p.m. or something.
Oh, daily?
So yesterday, this is as of yesterday probably.
Okay. So 101 as of yesterday.
In
that's
our county.
Countywide.
In our county, yeah.
All right. And there's about 25,000 people in the county.
Yeah, and there's 12,000 active cases in the state, with that central Arkansas, northwest Arkansas being the most active.
That's because they're nasty up there.
I know, and if you're going to be out and about in public in those, like Little Rock, the
Fayetteville.
Yeah, Bentonville. If you were going to be out in those areas, I would probably mask up again because there's a lot going on out there.
So if you're traveling, travel with a mask.
Yeah, wash your hands, sanitize. The over 70% alcohol is the kind of hand sanitizer you want to use.
You just use straight alcohol and you won't have any issues.
Yeah, but, you don't want to get pulled over and be like, it smells like alcohol in here. Just be real safe, officer.
I was just trying to keep myself disinfected. So
I think I used a little too much.
maybe a little too much for Santa Claus. All right. So, yes, Omicron is still a thing. And, yes, you still have to, safeguard yourself. Now, we were talking off mic, and, I ain't got sick yet. But I got both my vaccinations. I did not go and get a booster. The doctor recommended that I go and get a booster, and I just didn't do it. So, is it too late for me to get a booster?
No, I think it's fine. And to me, I got my booster. It went way better than the second shot. My second shot, I didn't want my booster because I didn't want to be sick again.
Well, that was the whole thing, man. I mean, I was like,
but my booster went fine, so
dude,
I was as sick as I could with the second shot.
That thing like to killed me just getting the vaccine. No, it really wasn't that bad. All right, but COVID is still a thing, and it's not done with us. We may be done with it, but it's not done with us. And Omicron is definitely a thing, so you guys do consider going ahead and getting your vaccinations if you haven't already.
And your children. I mean, now the mRNA vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, have been approved for children as young as 6 months old. And so I just saw a baby
kids
that
are
I
more
was
resilient
having.
Than
they are,
adults.
and they do have lower incidence of complications. But you tell that to, I can look at the data as to how many children have passed away from COVID in our state, and you tell that to the 9 kids under the age of 17 since the start of this, and I bet their parents wish they'd had the option to vaccinate.
Well, I mean, it's like rolling the dice. All right, I mean, 9 kids, that doesn't sound too bad, right?
But for that one parent...
That's horrible.
One parent losing your child.
One child is entirely too bad. One person, life is too precious.
Yes.
Boys and girls. And
so it does disproportionately affect adults, especially the over 65 age group. If you look by deaths by age group, over the 8,562 of Arkansans that have passed away were over the age of 65, compared with the 18 to 24 age group. Only 25 deaths were in that age group. So there's definitely a disproportionate, more likelihood. But you can't forget, and what this isn't showing is, and I can look it up, so there have been 170 children in Arkansas in the ICU due to COVID. So even though, not even a tenth of those passed away, more like a 20th, but still having 1,500 kids hospitalized and almost 200 of them in the ICU due to this, I guarantee you every single one of those families would have chosen vaccination.
It's the lesser of the evils. All right?
At this point, it's been out for over 2 years. There's been plenty of studies.
I didn't grow nothing extra, did you?
And no, I wished. I really wanted that third eye or x-ray vision or something.
I mean, I needed a super power, but it just didn't happen. So yeah, I mean, you guys.
So kids are less likely to have big problems, but I've already seen kids, especially those kiddos that are on in that younger spectrum, and especially that they're too young to really diagnose with asthma yet, but have family history and they get coughing more than other kids with the same virus. Those kids with asthma are just more likely to have, or those kids that will be diagnosed with asthma once they're testable. Because you can't really test for asthma until like 5 to 8 years old. And so that doesn't mean they don't have asthma before they're 5 and 8 years old. And especially when they're around that 12-month when their pipes are just a lot smaller, until they get to that 2-3 years old. They can get a lot more reactive with illnesses than other kids do. One of my kids snots, and one of them snots and coughs, So no matter what,
those
one
are
of them's
technical
coughing.
terms, by the way. Okay?
Yeah, lots of snot. We call it the snot rivers. But lots of snot rivers. My oldest got lots of snot rivers, but my youngest, every time anything, she starts coughing. And so that child is going to be more susceptible to having respiratory complications or more severe symptoms from a virus.
Now, Omicron or COVID as a whole, is it affecting younger children differently than it affects adults?
That question probably has to be a little bit more specific. It doesn't tend to be as high of complications as in adults, but it's higher in complications than other viruses.
Okay.
So like the flu every year causes problems. That's why we want people to get their flu shot. COVID is becoming endemic, meaning that we don't think it, by best evidence, we don't think this is just a one and done. We think it's probably going to be something that lingers like the flu.
Like the flu, okay. So I guess my question really was, is it very evident that you've got COVID? Or, like in the beginning, everything was COVID?
Unvaccinated people tend to have more significant symptoms. But in vaccinated people, I will say that it's not always apparent. I had a pharmacist tell me that their loved one just had lower back pain after being fully vaccinated and boosted, got COVID, and just had low back pain. So there's some weird stuff within the community of vaccinated people. And I will say that their symptoms tend to be much more mild. If you have sudden onset of allergies, this isn't a new season. If you've not been struggling with allergies since cold weather, it's not like all of a sudden you have bad allergies for 3 days. That's some sort of virus. Now, whether or not that's COVID is left to be determined.
Between you and your doctor.
Right. And make sure that as a patient that you are trying. I just saw a patient here recently that had a fever and wasn't tested. And so...
Well, that was going to be my next question. Now, I know that, you can pick up home test kits.
Right.
The Christian Health Center right down the street here on Fairview Road has home test kits, and for a limited time, I guess. Because they're coming, they're going, whatever.
You can buy them at Walmart now.
So, are they accurate?
It's as accurate as a pregnancy test. And we trust those.
Okay, then. So, you're either going to be pregnant or you've got...
Yeah, you got to make sure you get the right one.
So,
they look real
go.
similar.
All right, so... Whether you like it or not, COVID is here and it's not going away, as far as we know, anytime soon.
No, it will become endemic. And so what we do know from vaccination is not only are you less likely to have severe problems from the illness, so hopefully you're less likely to get it. And I do think the data will show that. We don't have great data on that yet. But I know too many instances of people like ourselves that are fully vaccinated and never got it.
Right.
Because I've not had anybody that I'm aware of that was unvaccinated and escaped. So just consider vaccination. If you have any hesitancies, don't hold on to something just because don't stick your feet in and be stubborn just to be stubborn. Right? If you have real questions, get real answers, right? But find out what your specific concern is about vaccination and get actual answers to that concern, because this vaccine has been out too long now. The likelihood...
Quit using WebMD, okay? Go and see your
They're
doctor.
probably decent, but the biggest thing is, get an opinion from a medical professional, and if you're suspicious that medical professional didn't give you a good opinion, then...
Go get
a
another
different one. Yeah, and about vaccine questions, as far as things that are specific for your health care, I can't really speak to that, and I wouldn't want to do that in a public forum. I'm very cautious about my patients' privacy. But if you have general questions about vaccines, you can always send them here to the radio show, to the Facebook page, to the text line. Ask your real questions. I would like to give honest data scientific answers for real concerns. But I just talked to somebody this week that, oh, I'm not vaccinated, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, well, it's my job during your visits to give you good information. I'm not your mom. I'm not going to walk you over to the pharmacy and make sure you get your shot, right? But if we can't talk about it, it might not be a good doctor-patient relationship, because my job is literally to try to give you good health advice.
Well, there's one person on this planet that you truly need to be honest with. It's your doctor.
Right. And if that person if I have a concern for your health that I can't talk to you about, it's not a good relationship. Because you need to be able to be confident that your doctor will talk to you about health concerns about your body, and prevention. And if I can prevent, like I have patients that are healthy, right? They're not on a lot of medications. And I had one gentleman that, a patient of mine that I would have never anticipated that he would have got as sick as he did from COVID. And the long-term problems and the outcome of that just rattled me, because he was healthy. He had one blood pressure medicine. Like, it wasn't something, he shouldn't have had anything happen to him, with other viruses. Right. And so for somebody to just sit and tell me that they're just not going to get it, it's like, well, what's your concern? Because I have a very real concern.
I'm the one who's going to treat you when you get it.
I'm the one that's going to have to send sympathy cards to your family. It's like, this isn't a, I know my concern, and it's too real for me to not talk about it.
Sure.
If I'm not talking to you about my health concerns for you, then I'm not a good doctor.
And I got to tell you, Dr. Smith is a great doctor. She's not a good doctor. She's great.
And I'll nag you to death.
She will nag you to death. All right. So, again, COVID's still a thing. So, don't forget about it.
Don't lick doorknobs. Try to be careful in
wash
public spaces. Hands.
Yeah, those two.
Unless you need to count with your toes, and then wash your feet too. Pull them out of the grocery store, wash them.
For God's sake, wash your feet. Some of you. Oh.
That has nothing to do with COVID, though. It's just general good hygiene.
So, also in the news this week, monkeypox.
Do you have some sort of monkey?
I'm trying to know.
Wasn't that a song by Peter Gabriel, "Shock the Monkey"?
Shock the Monkey, yeah. Yeah, we can come up with that. So, what is monkeypox? And should I go and get vaccinated for that?
There is not a vaccination. I'm not 100% sure there will be, because this isn't something that... this is like an opportunistic thing. It's not something that humans generally keep around. And so it's unusual that this strain, there's a lot of data going into how it jumped. It's usually what we call a zoonotic infection, meaning that it's...
Don't go to the zoo?
Yeah, it's in the zoo, just in the zoo. Animal. It's typically in animals, and it's typically in Africa. So the fact that this one has jumped out from that animals and out further from that continent... Africa is not a country, just to be very clear. I've heard that misconception.
It's a continent.
So,
there you go.
Done messed her up. Now she's like, where was I?
I don't know what we're doing, but sure.
Little Shock the Monkey.
You still got a while to get to the hook.
Yeah, well, I can always...
Don't you monkey with the monkey.
All right.
I'm sure there's more people Googling this song now.
Well, it's my job, so, All right, so where were we on monkeypox?
So,
it's a real thing.
Monkeypox.
They didn't just make this up.
No, I could get very specific, but monkeypox is somewhat related to smallpox.
Oh, man, I thought it meant you grow like opposable thumbs on your feet.
I thought I'd be able to swing by my tail.
Some people probably
man.
already have some of those. So it's not typically a human infection, though, so it doesn't spread human to human the same as, like, smallpox was very contagious.
All right.
But it tends to be similar to other common infectious rashes like secondary syphilis, herpes, chickenpox. It'll be a vesicular type rash, and it'll look like kind of like ulcers. Like if you think of herpes or the cold sore, that's a herpes virus. And so, or chickenpox, and now probably only adults remember what chickenpox looks like. But those tiny little bumps, blister
Yeah, because the kids today don't get to experience all of that neat stuff.
Right. Right. They get vaccinated.
They weren't at that babysitting party where they crammed 16 of us into a bedroom because one of them had it, and everybody's like, "Oh, everybody's got to get it now."
Well, and there's
these were my parents.
I'm pretty sure that I went to a chickenpox party. I still have the scar from it. Most people do, actually, but it is now vaccine preventable. But the monkeypox will look like that, and so it's been noted for a long time out in zoo animals. It's been in zoo animals here in the States before, and so that's why it's kind of unusual that all of a sudden it's jumped to humans. But that's really recent, but it tends to be endemic in several countries in the African continent. So, like I think Cameroon and Congo and Ghana, but again, endemic in animals, not in humans. So we don't really know why this new unprecedented outbreak has happened, but it started in May in Europe. And it's actually most identified in men who have sex with men.
What?
Okay, then.
So,
well, there's
if we see
one more
monkeypox
reason not to do
here.
that. Okay,
Well, I think the misconception is amongst that population is that you're not preventing pregnancy, but you still need to use condoms. If you're a dude and you're having intercourse with anyone.
Anybody.
And now I'm suspicious as to how this monkey virus started from monkeys and got to humans. But you should be wearing condoms. That's just good general health advice.
I would highly recommend you being safe, okay?
And leave animals alone.
Please.
Leave those poor animals alone.
There are certain things in life that we should not have to say.
Yeah. But
And
I
that
think
would be
certain
one of them.
things, like especially like we don't talk enough about it, and so just general health things. It's like the fact that a lot of people believe that African American or blacks don't need sunscreen. That is totally not true. Just because you have a nice skin tone does not mean you can't get skin cancer. So there's general health misconceptions that we don't really talk about because the subjects may broach, taboo things, and it's like, well, just because if for listeners that may have other relationships with men, just because you can't get pregnant doesn't mean you can't get other things. So you should wear condoms unless you're in long-term monogamous relationships.
And it all started with COVID, boys and girls.
I know, just one thing after another. So the prodrome, though, for the symptoms that you would want to, the manifestations, you're going to get, it's going to traditionally cause a fever, chills, muscle aches, and then the characteristic rash. So it's called a vesicular eruption. You're going to get small little bumps that look almost like blisters. And some people have it mainly in the genital regions without that prodrome. That fever and chills and myalgias, those muscle aches, that's called a viral prodrome. It means that they're symptoms of a systemic response to a virus. And so some people can get just the genital rash without the prodrome. So really widespread, very good advice. If you have any kind of anything in your bikini area, your no-no squares, you should probably see a doctor.
Yes, see a doctor.
And you shouldn't touch other people's no-no squares while you have that
Keep
rash.
your hands to yourself. All right, great advice from
Exactly.
Dr. Smith this
Exactly.
morning.
Yeah.
Wash your hands.
Keep your naughty bits to yourself.
If they've got a rash, you definitely need to keep them.
Boy, this show goes
Wrapped
way
up
off the
and
rails
see your
left and
doctor.
right, okay? So,
Wash your hands.
Yeah, no different than COVID. Keep yourself clean.
No licking doorknobs and no licking people.
And
There you go.
Don't put them doorknobs anywhere they don't
I don't know.
belong.
Some
okay?
people, that could be a compliment or it could be an offense.
I ain't trying to be judgy here.
So
okay?
usually after the fever, it's just a couple of days, and then the rash comes after that. So typically they tend to be little small macules. And there have been some complications, but they tend to be secondary infections following the virus. It doesn't seem to be as much the virus causing something. And that can happen with any virus, that you get a viral infection, your immune system is now distracted, and other things tend to...
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah. And so other things can creep up and cause bacterial infection secondary to just your immune system being weakened.
All righty. So, that and COVID and monkeypox, just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no.
Yeah. Don't go. Just say no. Don't go.
Don't get be like Dora the Explorer and go looking for something you really don't want to find anyway. So
right now, when to expect this? When should we be suspicious? And actually, testing is not great at this point.
All you got to do is just look at your fists, and if you got those little bumps, you're like, oh, I got the monkeypox.
It's not your fist usually, but
depends on where you put your hand.
Doc Bryce at Yes Radio Works.
So if you have rash or viral prodrome and you have a risk factor for infection, so that viral prodrome, fever, myalgia, obviously happens with a lot of viruses. That by itself is not a reason to suspect you have monkeypox. But you also have to have another risk factor, like recent travel to Central or West Africa or other place where large outbreaks have been reported, or close, intimate, in-person contact with a person that's been suspected or confirmed with monkeypox, or people that you don't know. So those casual relationships, especially, swords crossing, like that type of relationship, you might need to just be extra careful.
See, it's a good thing she's a doctor, man, because we'd never get away with this on our own, okay?
Swords and Brillo pads.
We would be run right out of town, okay?
Well, I figured that brings a little humor to a topic that...
No, I mean, you can get away with it,
Might be a little... risque to talk about. But.
Well, people and society, they are just what they are. So
exactly, and to expect people to be different. I mean,
you got to be aware of the problems there, boys and girls.
And we have to talk about them, and it wouldn't seem so weird to talk about them if we talked about them more often.
There is that. So
if you've had any kind of risk factor, recent travel, intimate relationships with someone who has been suspected or confirmed, or that you have any concern for herpes. So if you think that you might have genital herpes, then that should probably be tested in this setting.
All right. And there are, like penicillins for all of this?
It's a virus, so...
Well, I mean, what you always say.
There is not a particular treatment for it.
Well, you cannot take a pill and, make all of this go away?
No,
you gotta get a shot.
You just gotta keep...
I'm itching all over now, and I'm thinking maybe I need...
You just gotta keep your sick bits to yourself until...
Sickos.
Until your body is able to fight off and then treat secondary infections. Viruses are viruses. There's not very many good treatments for most viruses because... It's all a risk-benefit analysis, right? We have treatment for the flu because people die every year from the flu. We have treatment for COVID because people die from COVID, right? But as far as, like, all the other viruses, you'll probably be fine.
Just eat you some random mold and see what happens.
Just take a couple of these and call your doctor in the morning. Okay.
Yeah, and antibiotics are way overused in general. And so I do think that we're seeing more and more physicians that are trying to combat that, but I still see grossly overused antibiotics. Like people that probably shouldn't have got antibiotics. Like the antibiotics are specific to bacterial infection. And if you don't have a documented area that has been infected, just because you feel bad is not the diagnosis of a bacterial infection. And if you have, like, people want sinus treatment, they want antibiotics for sinuses. Well, one, we need to test you for viruses because that's much more common than bacterial sinus infection. It's very unlikely to have bilateral bacterial sinus infection. It's very unlikely to have a bacterial sinus infection without a fever because bacteria spark that immune system even more. You're going to have localized pain, swelling, fever with bacterial infections. And so, for example, if your doctor offers you an antibiotic and you don't have a fever and you don't have unilateral pain, that you don't have all these other risk factors for it, it probably was inappropriate. And so if you have just sinus, so there is chronic sinusitis that certain antibiotics can be helpful with, but it's even different from what antibiotics you treat an acute sinus infection with. If you can't document where the infection is and that it's not a virus, you're supposed to wait 7 to 10 days of just regular cold type symptoms before starting to think about antibiotics. And that's more for, okay, these symptoms have persisted long enough, maybe something secondary has cropped up. And so if you're getting antibiotics before that without meeting key points for sinus infection, it was probably inappropriate.
Now, if you, and we're running a little bit long, but if you take antibiotics when you don't need antibiotics, are they going to be as effective as they need to be when you do need antibiotics? Did that make sense?
Over time, that can change. The biggest thing for antibiotic overuse is that you may find that over time, not necessarily so much for you, but in general. So like right now, azithromycin used to be an excellent antibiotic, and then the general public just started prescribing it for just everything. And like during COVID, even though like there was an initial like, was this helpful? But then science quickly showed that it did not help. But I still see physicians that write azithromax or Z-Pak azithromycin for COVID. And there's no documented improvement in COVID and now we have treatment. So why don't we just use the actual treatment for that? What we
actually have learned works.
And so there's lots of things for that. So that over time can produce resistance, and inside the same person. So people that get frequent urinary tract infections, it can make it to where as you use more antibiotics, the antibiotics you used to use don't work as well. So that can happen. And then the other thing, just being over time, like with azithromycin, that it just isn't as useful as it used to be because the types of bacteria that are out and in the environment are becoming more and more resistant to that antibiotic.
They adapt to it, and they're no longer
exactly. But there's actually increased cancer risk in people that overuse antibiotics, and there's also increased risk for obesity in people that overuse antibiotics. So weird stuff.
All right. And it's National Chocolate Day, so you guys go on out there and enjoy the chocolate that is, because chocolate's good for you.
Dark chocolate's even better, but it has lower pure sugar. And I would just look at any of your ingredient lists. If you can get something that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup and doesn't have artificial sweeteners. Stevia is a natural sweetener, and stevia I don't lump with the other artificial sweeteners. That's a natural sweetener. It just doesn't have calories.
Okay.
But anytime
so
that you
stevia good, yep. Sweet and low bad.
Well, it's just you want to be judicious. I wouldn't want to drink artificial sweeteners all day, every day. Occasionally is not going to be bad.
I don't want nothing in my sugar but sugar.
Real sugar.
Man, I've been using honey.
And not high fructose corn syrup. Look at the ingredient label. You should treat that as rat poison. Like no one should have it. It's banned in other countries.
I've been using straight up honey that I got from the farm.
That's good.
And I've been really, really enjoying that.
It's got a lower glycemic index, so it doesn't spike your sugar quite so fast as regular granulated sugar. But then also, like agave is lower on the glycemic index. Coconut sugar is lower on the glycemic index. And so there's a lot of other sweet, natural options.
Agave, you mean tequila?
No.
That's where tequila comes from.
Right.
I mean, if we ferment that sugar.
So, that's
what you do with sugar cane.
Drink more tequila.
You ferment sugar cane and you got what?
Tequila.
No, you got rum.
Oh, rum. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was still on tequila.
This is tequila day.
I just got prescribed tequila from my doctor.
I'm just saying sugar cane, and then you got what was it? The aquava? Or
agave.
Agave. See? Sweeteners. See?
Yeah.
And then you ferment it and poof.
Yeah.
You can drink it.
All you got to do is add Coke.
Yeah. Wash it down.
Oh, that's got high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, now you just made it bad. See, it was good until you made it bad.
All right.
Like why
bust out some lime, people. Okay?
Why people like Mexican soft drinks, and they like to get the soft drink at the Mexican restaurant, is because in Mexico you can't use high fructose corn syrup, so it has real sugar in it.
Yep.
And it tastes different.
Yes, Dublin Dr. Pepper used to be that way until Snapple shut them down.
All right, guys and gals, it's the Roundtable. Thank you, Dr. Smith.
Yep.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah.
You're not so bad.
Not so bad.
Not so bad. He's no longer the great. or the 10th of a great. He's the Doc Bryce, the not so bad.
Not so bad. Well, at least he's not in jail, right?
Well, I'm still in Facebook jail.
You're still in Facebook jail?
Yeah. So, we've got the workaround going, so it's fine. All right, guys and gals, it's the Roundtable, brought to you each and every weekday morning by our friends out at Everybody's Antiques. Everybody's Antiques wants to invite you down. It says, come on by Everybody's Antiques. It's been a rough couple of days, but all of our friends have been working hard to be ready to reopen. So they are reopened, and it looks like most of the antiques and collectibles escaped any harm, and maybe you'll get some extra good deals. You never know. Everybody's Antiques, corner of Bradley and West Hillsboro and El Dorado. We're brought to you by our friends out at First Choice Family Care. That would be Dr. Jera Smith and staff.
She didn't get flooded.
You didn't get flooded?
No.
No, they were
good.
fine. Yeah.
Good. Well, she's kind of up on a hill, man.
Yeah.
Trust me, I have to walk up it because I always have to park on it. Anyway, 476 Hospital Drive. You guys call her up, 870-800-9002. She'll let you know when you can come in and powwow. Get you a new patient packet at myfirstchoicecare.com. We're brought to you by Mitch Lowe's Body Shop. All accidents, large or small, Mitch Lowe's can handle it all. 837-2560. If you get put in the ditch, just call
Dave,
because he's got the stuff. All right. St. John's Place and Washington Nursing and Rehab. They're the choice for all of your rehabilitation and long-term care needs, and they provide award-winning short-term therapy services, too. Check them out online, stjohnsplaceofarkansas.com or washingtonnursing.com. SAU Tech, they've got multiple job openings so you can have a career in higher education. Apply online at sautech.edu. Go Rockets.
And they have a daycare.
They have a daycare.
Yeah.
I can drop off my kids?
Well, I think if you want to be a student, you have an option for while you're a student.
I just want to drop off my kids.
Your kids are adults.
Well, exactly. That's why I want to drop them off. Let's see. We are brought to you by everybody at Stories Floor and Carpet. There we go. 2004 Lorraine and El Dorado.
You're going to want that boat carpet.
Well, I'm telling you. And they sell cleaning products for your flooring. They've got a large selection of samples of tile and decorative accents to choose from.
Do they install the boat carpet?
Maybe, but probably not in your boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want it in your bathroom like Doc Bryce, they can probably help you out with that.
Is that like those airport bathrooms that have the dog bathroom where you spray down afterward?
Stories, Floor, and Carpet. Quality you can count on since 1958. 862-9446. And finally, we are brought to you by the Flaming Pig Barbecue. Their fundraiser is coming up this Sunday. Be sure to check it out. Make your plans to attend the Holly Springs Volunteer Fire Department Barbecue Fundraiser from 11 to 2 this Sunday. More information, call Bonnie, 870-818-2602. All right, guys, we have got to get through this top of the hour stuff. Y'all hang out. Remember, if you got questions for Dr. Smith, you can always email me. You can stop me in Walmart because you're going to anyway. You can call the text line, right, Doc?
Yes.
870?
No, 501-313-0944.
But you can find that text line online.
Yeah, I mean, just go to the Facebook page, then go click on the video feed.
Pop right up there.
And it's right there in the notes.
Okay. Or you can always just do it the old-fashioned way and go and see your doctor, Dr. Smith.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you don't have a doctor,
Dr.
go to our
Smith.
Facebook page.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bunch of great information on Dr. Smith's Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we have got to get through this. Y'all hang out, and we'll be back.
News Talk 92, KBEU Beer Den.
Sorry, can you clarify that last sentence for me?
That means the news and talk of South Arkansas on News Talk 92, KBEU.
One of the first cars are going to see it, you know?
Right.
Really, they're going to